What's good? It is episode
12.
Oh my gosh, that's
Episode
3
12.
months.
3 months.
That's
Low
insane.
key. We've been doing this for 3 months.
3 months.
Feels like a week.
Can you believe it? It is like Monday morning, 6 a.m., 9
6
a.m.
a.m.
Pacific Standard Time. We are getting started. It is a beautiful day, all right? I'm excited. We have a guest here.
We do have a guest.
Got my younger brother, Sal. Sal, say hi.
What's up? It's Tristan. I am Nick's brother. Shout out West Coast.
We're
Shout out
here.
West
We got a
Coast.
good episode for you guys. This is, I think, going to apply to a lot of you. Before we jump into the episode, though, you mind if I share a little something?
You can share a little something.
Can you guess what I'm about to share?
I think so. I think they know too.
I think they know too.
They congruent
If
listeners.
you've been watching, you already know. There is a fee for this show. Now you see, this ain't no monetary fee.
Right, I don't have to pay something.
You ain't got to pay nothing. All right.
Okay.
This is simple. We're never gonna run any ads here. We're never gonna bombard you with stupid stuff. We're not gonna bother you about anything. All right. We bring value here. But the way we grow this show is by word of mouth. So if we brought any sort of value, if we made you laugh, if we made you smile, if we made you think about things differently, anything whatsoever, go tell somebody about our show. We grow by word of mouth, and that's how we're gonna do it.
Yep.
So we're gonna bring information. You're gonna grow as a person. So help us grow.
For real.
That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, today's episode,
Today's episode is all about the gamer mindset.
the gamer mindset, bro.
If you didn't know, we were all gamers. We're
Really?
all, and gamer runs deep with me.
I'm still here in the gamer mindset.
Yeah. So
yeah,
this will be a fun episode. And
I guess you could say I'm in a transition right now. It's like
transition.
I'm learning the process of the grind, right?
Right.
I'm here.
So what's gonna be kind of fun is me and Nick. I think. I mean, bro. To be honest with you, I haven't touched a video game in like
yeah.
a month.
Last time I played was like Roblox for like 2 hours, and I literally haven't touched video games since.
It's interesting to see
For
everyone. My
months.
parents always told me you're gonna get out of those that phase will
Yeah.
end, and I was just like, nah, bro, you
Yeah,
don't
I
understand.
used to never.
But to be honest with you, the phase, like I still love video games. It's still
Oh,
like
that's a
that
great
within
thing,
me.
yeah.
But it's not the same as it was before.
I think a lot of people are looking at games wrong, especially like our audience out there. I guarantee most of you are teenage dudes who are gamers or still are gamers, something like that. You know?
Yeah.
You might be even watching this episode from a TikTok that was like, "Hey, check out our podcast. We're talking about games." But
Exactly.
like, we're here to kind of show how you should approach video games if you want to grow as a person.
Yeah.
You know?
And
there's a balance to find.
And I think first we're gonna kind of start off with telling our story a bit. We all kind of
Yeah.
come from very much the gamer.
A sad area.
It's a sad area.
We used to all game together, like
Yeah.
literally all
And
the time.
and that's how we become such good friends. We all gamed for hours on top of hours together. And we're going to get into some of those stories real quick about it.
I'd like to say those were some great memories, though.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Definitely a great way to connect with people.
Yeah.
But if you're on that grind set,
Yeah.
can't be here.
And it's sadly it is kind of true. Like you got to focus on yourself more, and video games can kind of take away a lot of that, especially like if you're sitting there for hours, you know, you're losing
Mhm.
a lot of time that you could be spending on other things. But yeah, I mean, like, to be honest with you, there's a certain amount of life that you need to enjoy,
Oh yeah.
and video games are a great way to do that, and they're a great way to connect with people. So
Mhm.
don't think we're saying don't do that. Just we're going to talk a bit about
Yeah.
kind of like how we can apply maybe some of the stuff that you're applying so much to video games. Let's
Mhm.
apply it and kind of spread ourselves out a bit, a little less video games and more doing things that are more focused around improving yourself as a person. You know?
So do we want to talk about backstories?
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
I'd like to begin, actually.
Okay, never mind. We'll let Sal go first.
As I'm the biggest one here.
Okay.
So we come from a very dark background, at least me and
Right.
him. We have another friend, shout out Connor,
Shout out Connor,
biggest grinder.
the
Okay.
big grinder.
I'd like to say he has the right mindset, but applies it to the wrong thing. That's
100%.
fair, right?
Bro's got more discipline than I think everyone I know combined.
This
but
guy-
it's towards video games.
This guy can do so much in one day, and like, if he was to put this into something else,
Yeah.
and I'm sure this is a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
They put in a ton of effort into a video game because it's fun, right? And it's like you're seeing results in a video game, and it makes you happy.
Right. It was always about the results. I think
Exactly.
I didn't like especially like getting kind of into some video games. We'll tell them here. We played the game. Do you guys know the video game Ark?
Ark Survival Evolved.
Ark Survival Evolved. This is yeah. It's basically Minecraft with dinosaurs. So
Very
like,
toxic,
it's-
very
yeah.
bad for your mental health, basically bad for you.
yeah,
But the memories,
the memories are there, and the main reason that I think we played this game so much was kind of showing off the people that we were. It's a game where you kind of sit there and just grind out, like gathering resources, building a base, competing with other people to be the biggest base and the biggest tribe, as
It's
they're
almost
calling it.
like playing Monopoly, but
Kind of, yeah.
it's like
And there's a lot of intricate almost like political stuff as well between the
Exactly.
different tribes. There's
depending
like a lot
on
of
what you do, this can get very political very,
Yeah.
very fast.
It's very interesting. Not we don't mean political in the terms of like Democrat and Republican, but like you're arguing
Governments-wise.
with like different tribes and trying to like work things out. It's very interesting, and it like got very engaging because what we started to realize is like it's basically like you're seeing all these results in front of you, and you're seeing like your base grow and all these things being successful. But a lot of the time, I think to myself, man, if I just was able to apply that to like a real business or a real thing, I would have been, so much more successful in those things.
Shout out ancient China, 3 kingdoms, just like that. That's the best way I could put art.
Ain't-
If you
What?
so they're back in the way back in the day, there was 3 kingdoms in China.
Oh,
There was
okay.
3 I don't know the word for this, but it was like 3 warlords.
Okay.
There was a ton at one point, but
Right.
it
Went down to 3.
3. Yeah, that's
Okay.
arc basically. If you know the history, we're not gonna
Right.
go into that, but yeah.
So let's talk about how you like broke away from video games. Like, what's your?
Yeah.
This is Nick, by the way. For people who can't tell the difference between our voices, we'll try to
Yeah.
talk as different, but like our voices sound very similar. Just a
They,
heads up.
they're a lot of people think they're the same person.
We're not the same
over
person.
the mic.
So just try to figure it out. But anyways,
Yeah.
I just want to say, let's put that out there. We're not the same person.
I'm brown, he's white. That's the best way to.
Sure.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so how did you break away from video games?
So,
Aiden?
breaking away from video games kind of all started for me when, I mean, to be honest with you, I'll tell you the exact point when I realized. Okay, it was the last.
It was the
Arc
depression,
server
right? For
that
the,
we
for the video
ever
games.
played. So if you don't know, when you play Arc, you're playing with a bunch of other people, and it's like if you get off the game, those people can come and raid your base, right? But it's not like Clash of Clans where all your stuff stays there. Like, nah, bro, your stuff's gone.
Weeks of effort.
Yeah, like any effort, let's say you put 4 days into it and someone raids your base, 4 days are just gone like that, right? So to be honest with you, it becomes like real life, right? So this server was like the worst. And it was called Official Sucks Arc.
Shout out to people who run those servers. You
Yeah.
guys are godsent.
Somehow they do it, and somehow they just live that life. But basically, we were playing this server so hardcore that I was sitting in my room straight up 4 days, did not leave my house. I ate 2 meals a day, like max, took a shower for like 2 minutes. I like barely slept. It was like just grind, right?
There was 3 people in our tribe. It was me, him, and then Connor.
Yeah.
Me and Connor stayed up till 5 a.m. in some nights. We even called out sick on school days. Sick, quote
Yeah.
unquote, to
Yeah.
stay home and play Arc. So that's where we were.
And it was because I think in a lot of ways
That
it's
is so bad.
yeah. But if I'll get into why I think we kind of got so into it, because I think there's a really crucial and important thing that is there with that and the way all of our brains work. But we got so into this game, and by the end of it, I realized I was like, man, what am I doing? Like, respectfully, like I'm just sitting in my room, wasting time playing a game that basically, when I get bored of it, will just all disappear.
It was also very sad because our friends did not like we have a big group of friends and they did
Right.
not like it when we played that game because we basically shunned everybody out.
Yeah.
Like there was a point I had this friend way back in the day, 2020. I remember complaining about this person to you guys.
Right.
And I completely shunned this person for a week.
Yeah. Just like
Didn't-
shut them out.
Didn't do good.
Yeah.
That didn't end well.
It was definitely, yeah, and like even like I think on the last Arc server, or maybe one of the Arc servers, I was like in mid relationship with my ex, and I straight up told her that I thought I might have COVID. So then my Arc.
Bro, are you serious? You told this woman he had a girlfriend, and he told her, I have COVID, so we can't hang.
I didn't say I had COVID.
I
but
think I
said,
might have COVID, so
Yeah.
we can't hang. Sorry. I got to play video games. I'm going to call you out. That is low, bro. That is like
Whoa.
that is so bad.
But see,
I've never been that bad. I'm just saying like
yeah.
that is brutal, man.
Well, because I knew
Holy
if I
crap.
went and hung out with her, it would be like 4 hours taken out of the Arc grind. Respectfully, like
Sigma
I needed
grind
to
set.
grind. So, it was bad. You can probably see why the relationship ended. But mainly my whole point is that playing these video games so much really messed up the way my brain worked, because in a way I was doing something really good, which was getting really focused on a goal, but it was the wrong goal, right? It was something that didn't matter at the end of the day, because when you turn off the video game, you're still broken, have no hose.
You get up in your sweaty, disgusting room, and your parents look at you like, "Are you gonna come downstairs and eat with the family?"
Yeah,
That's
you're like,
the
no,
reality.
mom, I need to eat upstairs today.
Yeah.
You know, so like, it was really toxic and really bad.
Very, very bad for the mental health.
Yeah, but in a way, I think breaking away from that, I realized a lot of good positive traits I could take away with the discipline that took. But I think, like Nick, how you asked, what was the key crucial point? I think it was, I remember after that, I walked downstairs and I was like upset, like I was like mad because I felt like just so garbage because I was living terribly. Like I hadn't moved out of my room in like 4 days, right? Besides like going downstairs, so I felt gross. And my dad's like, he looks at me, he's like, Aiden, can I ask you something? And I'm like, what? He's like, what are you getting out of that? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, are you like gaining anything out of that? Like, look at yourself right now. And I was like, damn, you're kind of right. And at first I argued with him. I was like, no, bro, it's just fun. But then like after I realized, I was like, yeah, like he's right. Like if I was applying this to other things, I'd be so much happier, you know, and it'd be so much more fulfilling. Like it feels fulfilling in the moment. And I think that's kind of the worst part about video games. Like they're designed to do this, right? They want you to play the video game as much as possible. So they design it in a way that's very grabbing on your mental, you know, your, what's it called? Like the dopamine triggers and like being able to get so excited constantly. You're triggering your brain and all these things. It's so like dopamine fulfilling that you get lost a lot of the time. And then you play for way too long and you could have just applied that towards things that maybe don't seem as fulfilling, but as you go through them, you realize that it's just as fulfilling and even more fulfilling actually accomplishing things in real life.
Yeah. I was just going to give a quick background how I broke off from video games.
Yeah.
I literally don't play video games at all anymore. I used to play it a lot. I enjoyed them. But it was more of just like something that fizzled out for me, right? I guess I just switched my priorities. I never really thought about gaming as a priority once I started to like grind. So I never had a severe addiction. Okay, it was an addiction, but
Nick wasn't as bad as us.
I never really had anything too terrible. So breaking away was a lot easier for me, and I, don't get me wrong, love video games, but I just really don't play them anymore.
Yeah.
They fizzled out. It didn't take much effort. It just took a mindset shift, and they just fell to the background.
And also, I just want to preface one thing for the viewers. I know maybe a lot of you are still pretty hardcore gamers, and the thing that when people would always say stuff like this to me, or like being like, oh, that's just a phase, it'll end. I always kind of fought them on it. And because I was like, no, this is like the way I have fun. And I'll say that I still have fun. Just because I'm not playing video games anymore doesn't mean life isn't fun. If anything, I have more fun because I get to go experience great things with my friends. I get to do a lot more. And I think as you grow up, you get opportunities to go out more, you know, try new things. And video games start to become less exciting. So yeah, like you're gonna still be able to do a lot of those things. And like one way I relax now, I don't play video games as much. It's more like just kind of watch anime, you know, kind of chill, just lay down usually every night.
Definitely better.
Watch an episode or two. But the nice thing about that is one episode's 20 minutes and then it's done. You know what I mean? With video games, it's like this commitment that you're making all the time, and it's like there's some where you can just play for 20 minutes, but like realistically,
nobody's playing video games for just 20 minutes, bro.
Exactly.
You sit down for a gaming session, it becomes 3 hours. Like,
and it's
always.
And it's just like naturally something that's supposed to happen, right? Like that's how video games are designed to be, to keep you playing. You know what I'm saying? So like that's just how it goes.
Like, so games that are usually more played now are games that involve some sort of reward at the end.
Yeah.
So they use this to kind of lock you in. This
Yeah,
is how they
for
keep
sure.
you playing. So you can say, oh, I'll play for an hour, but say you get something really good in an hour done, right, in this video game. It's going to give you more and more, and you're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to break off of it if you're not, like, disciplined beforehand. So
yeah, 100%.
You kind of have to, like, see where you're going with that.
It's definitely, like, that's how it's designed. So don't, and by no means we're trying to make you guys feel bad or say, like, oh, if you're still playing video games, you're
You
losing.
should feel kind of bad, though.
I mean, like, if you're as bad as me and Tristan were, like, we are low, bro.
Yeah,
like, we're low.
I think to a point, it's a great way to talk with people that you can't usually hang out with.
100%.
Right? So during COVID, during the whole lockdown, that was a great way
Oh,
to
yeah,
hang out
it
with
was
friends
definitely
and
great.
catch up because, you know, people were alone. Everyone was locked in their house.
Yeah.
But if you do have opportunities with your friends to go out, do something fun, you know, maybe spend a little bit of money, that's a lot better.
It's
you
a lot
feel a
better.
little bit more reward, like
Well, it's something you're actually feeling in real life.
Exactly.
You're not just like staring at a screen and stuff like that. Like you're feeling real, actual things happening around you. So going outside, 100%. Like, I mean, I remember Connor was the worst at this.
Yeah.
He would straight up stay home instead of hanging out with us to play video games.
Alone. There
Shout
was
out
nobody
to,
else.
Shout
with
out to
him.
Connor. But like that's just kind of how it goes. Like some people get really attached to those video games, and I mean, me and Tristan both had it as well. We got very attached.
So I had an interesting point that I wanted to bring up. So Tristan mentioned earlier the whole Connor thing. What was it? Right mindset, wrong person, right?
Yeah.
Or right
Mindset, wrong goal.
Right mindset, wrong goal. That's what
Yeah.
he said. Okay, so that's really interesting. Okay, so a lot of you out there can grind video games for
100%.
hours, right? You are the
I
most.
respect it very hard because it
Yeah.
takes a lot of mental fortitude to do something like that.
You're like the
Yeah.
most disciplined gamer ever, and it's extremely impressive, right? But I want to say, let's bring this idea into your brain, and this is something you should definitely reflect upon after the episode. What if you applied that to something else? What if you take that discipline from all that gaming, all of that like hardcore, you can grind for 3 hours straight and just like totally focused in? What if you take that and apply it to something else? That's a good question.
Shout out to my GTA players. I want to say that is almost like a life sim. Definitely not life, right? But in a way, you buy properties, you make money off those properties, but you have to put in work to kind of get that money. This kind of applies to life, right? These are good. Like you can take this and kind of learn from that. So in GTA, you can buy, hotels, or not hotels, just like properties. It's illegal stuff, right? So drug businesses, nightclubs. It's kind of a good way to start seeing what you can do to make a lot of money.
Bro. Okay, he doesn't mean like buy like drug. He's talking about like learning about investing.
Like learning about spending money to make money, right? It's a good sort of like,
introduction.
Exactly. That's what I mean to say by that. But if you were to take those kind of mindsets of, spending money to make money, there you go.
And you can apply that to real life.
Oh yeah,
There's
totally.
definitely a lot of stuff where, I mean, because video games are just a simulation of real life.
Mhm.
So obviously there's going to be a lot of things that relate directly.
Exactly. I think what a lot of guys do is they try to justify their gaming sessions, right? They're like, oh,
Right.
I play for 3 hours. Like, oh, it makes my reaction time better, or it gives me like whatever, right? Like,
Right.
the scientific studies that make gaming stronger or whatever. It's stuff like that, right? They try to justify their gaming with those reasons, or I'm going to go pro or something. Like, no, bro. Most of the population, like, the actual reaction time that you gain from games isn't that much, isn't that great. And it's not like you're even using it because you're just literally playing video games all day.
Yeah.
So, like, the thing I want to say is if you're going to spend 3 hours playing video games, you should chop that off and spend 3 hours doing something productive.
Yeah.
Because life rewards are going to be so much more valuable than video game rewards. And I know you've heard this a million times, right? Everyone's like, oh, stop being a video game nerd, but you don't really care, right? But, like, you should care, because if you actually experience, like, these life rewards, and you'd be like, oh, my gosh, what was I wasting my time for?
Would you rather have the achievement or 100K in the bank? That's what I like to think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, naturally, it's kind of just how it goes. And I think a lot of you, regardless of what we say here, are just going to take some time to figure it out. 100%. Like I've heard it a million times.
It's not an overnight thing. This is a whole mindset change.
Yeah. And kind of, I think, what I realized is when we started this account and everything, it kind of was like, oh, we'll see kind of where things go. We'll see what we can do. But I think the most valuable thing that we've always talked about has been the mindset stuff. And
Very much so.
And
yeah.
by doing these podcast episodes and by making these TikTok videos, I realized just how important mindset is to everything.
It connects to everything. Yeah, 100%.
And it's like you can't start anything without a mindset change. You know what I'm saying? Without having that healthy mindset. The way I like to think about it is, this is going to kind of be a little bit of a tangent, but hold with me here, okay? So, like, I'm not going to name names, but there's people that I know that complain about not having a girlfriend. It's not me. I've never complained about that.
It's cap.
Yeah, but so a lot of people complain about it. And before I've done the same thing. I think we all kind of do. Sometimes like, oh man, if I just had a girlfriend, like, shut up, bro, respectfully. But also, one thing that I want to say is this. A lot of these people are just really sad and miserable because they don't have a girlfriend. But it's partly, I'm like, your mindset's so messed up that, like, who would want to date you anyway? You know what I'm saying? And I said this before, but, like, you can't expect anyone to love you if you don't love yourself. You know what I mean?
On job, bro.
And, like, I don't get it. Like, people hope that someone else will come save them type of thing. But that applies directly here with the video game stuff as well. Like, you can't just expect the video games to solve this deep internal problem that you have, right? I think a lot of us use this medium as a way to kind of ignore the problems that we're facing, or ignore the fact that in a lot of ways we want to be successful, but it's hard. It takes real work and dedication and doing things that are boring to get through it, right? But the reward that is given from that is so much more, right? And like, the discipline that I had to play a video game was ridiculous. People looked at me like I was crazy, sitting there for straight up 4 days in my room, did not leave my room playing video games.
Scaring the hose away.
Right? Respectfully. Like, they didn't want it.
Disrespectfully scaring the hose away.
Yeah. And my whole point is, like, if I had known earlier that I had that discipline within me, I could have built something way sooner, right? I could have started thinking wealthy 2 years ago. But like always, I don't like to think in the past and be like, oh man, like, I wish I just started this earlier. I always try to kind of look towards the future as like, well, at least I know now. You know what I mean?
You know
it's
what
part
they
of the
say.
growth.
The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago,
Yeah.
right? But the second best time to plant a tree is right now.
Exactly. Because you can't go back into the past to do it. So we might as well just start now and start thinking of ways to grow and thinking of ways that we can kind of like use that discipline that we built through video games to do other things. You know what I'm saying? Because you have it within you.
So I wanted to add, and that was a good point, by the way. I wanted to add more on the loneliness, like no girlfriend kind of topic, because yes,
Yeah.
okay. So back in 2020, I was in a very low point, like self-confidence wise,
Right.
Because I was at home, I wasn't making like moves on myself, right? I was just kind of flatlining, staying at home playing video games,
Right.
and it was fun to a point because that was like when everything was first starting. I was like, yeah, I got time to, hang out with my buddies, whatever. But you kind of like plateau at a point.
100%.
And this isn't just something that happened during COVID. This could be happening to many people right now. Like you could be, you have a job, so you're making money, but you're not doing anything. You're just kind of plateauing. And earlier this year, or I guess like September of last year, like I'm still in school, so that's what I mean by earlier this year, I finally started to kind of make moves on myself. Like I started moving forward.
Right.
I got a job. I started working more on my like being legal to drive because, I just turned 17 not too long ago. I got my license finally. And I started feeling more accomplished.
Right.
Right. And I started like, wow, I feel more attractive. I feel more confident.
100%.
And like I started talking to girls and stuff. Shout out Erin.
Shout out Aaron.
Great person, by the way. I don't know if she's going to see this. But yeah, I attracted somebody who's very good for me, and I'm good to them, and I'm happy about it because I'm happy with myself. But there was a girl that I talked to in 2020, like during COVID, and I wasn't happy with myself. That's when I thought, oh, if I had a relationship, I'd be a lot happier.
Nah, and it's
wasn't
not really
happy.
like that. And I think that's 100% a thing that, I mean, it's almost like every guy
Every
goes through
guy
that.
needs to experience it. I was
Yeah.
literally about to say, like, that's everything that a guy needs.
And like I don't know women as much. Like I feel like it's kind of similar. Like women kind of go through the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's
sometimes
definitely like a dude thing.
it's definitely more of a dude thing than
Yeah.
anything else.
Well, I mean, it's also we are dudes, so it's like
Yeah,
our perspective.
we kind of
yeah.
understand it best. But I think going through that first relationship, you learn so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, I feel like it's very rare to see a first relationship succeed and like become like a marriage
Yeah.
and become a lifelong thing. It happens.
It does
And that's maybe when two healthy people connect like that.
at the
but,
right
like,
time, Yeah.
It's like most of the time that first relationship is really, if anything, just a learning experience.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to everyone who got heartbroken in that first experience. I feel it hurts.
We feel it.
But
We've all been through it.
that's where that growth can come into
That's
play,
where it
right?
comes into play. And I think that's like
Yeah.
really an integral part of
Mhm.
growing up and realizing like there's more to life than just like, oh, well, if I just find this person, they'll solve the problem. Like it's about you. Like
That's-
you're going to solve that problem.
Honestly, it's kind of selfish just expecting
Yeah.
someone to solve the problem for you. That is terrible. Like
It's not a good mindset.
you
to
might not
have.
even realize it that you yourself have that issue. Thinking like wanting a relationship but not being in a mentally healthy space. So you're just gonna hurt someone else as well as hurting yourself.
It's like an experience thing. You got to experience it to know like why this is happening to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And mainly to me like that, and it kind of applies to more than just like, oh, having a girlfriend. It
Mhm.
applies to everything that you experience in your life. Like you have to realize that like all of these things that are supposed to be hard and these jumps that you got to go through and the hoops that you got to go through are the things that are challenging you to become better.
Yeah.
Right. Like I look at it as like this. In terms of growth and like becoming a better person, I think a lot of people kind of look at just like the steps that are there, and they look at it very in a tangible way, right? Like, oh, well, if I start making more money, I can buy this car, and I can buy these outfits, and I can do these things, right? And then, oh, once I get this thing, I'll have this thing, and once I have that, it's always these kind of step, right? But I feel like a lot of people, what they need to do is kind of take a step back and realize the more important thing, which is through being successful and grinding and trying to become a better person, what's going to happen is the real reward that you're going to be gaining is that feeling of fulfillment,
the
right?
mental health,
that mental health and that confidence that comes from being like, okay, I'm actually able to be a successful person, right?
I wanna add something. Wait, you go ahead.
I wanted to say, if you aren't like, let's put it this way: if you're alone and you're feeling depressed, you think, oh, let me go do something that's gonna make me feel happy, right? So you can get a job that's gonna be good for you because you're fulfilling something, right? But if you do something that's kind of instant gratification, so like say going to Disneyland alone, you're not gonna feel that great. You have to kind of, it's like building yourself. It's not just instant fulfillment. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's important to focus on those things that kind of make you grow more as a person.
It's a build instead of an instant thing. You gotta get up there.
So the one thing I kind of wanted to, I guess, attach onto a little bit more is a huge motivation out there for all the dudes listening. They want a girlfriend, right? Like, can't throw that out the window. Like, it makes sense. Like, you want a girlfriend, you're a gamer, you have no idea what to do. But I think personally, I'm the classic story of I used to play video games, but I got jacked now and I'm way happier and I pull all the ladies.
Shout out Pocket Sages.
I don't know what he's saying.
I don't get it, but the gamers know. Shout out the Pocket Sages.
Anyways, what I was saying, like, a lot of dudes out there, the whole motivation is like to get a girl. You want an attractive girl, like that's a huge motivation in their life. But like to get there, I'm telling you, if you pull back on the video games, start working on yourself. Doesn't even have to be the gym, though I'd highly recommend working on the gym. I say start working on yourself, pull back, and you are going to get a girl because you're going to be like mentally healthy, a lot happier, feeling clean. It's going to be so much easier to get a girl. Like I'm telling you, the motivation that you have to get a girlfriend should use that energy to like work on yourself, and then you'll get a girl from it. Like I'm just saying, bro.
Even if your end goal is to get a girlfriend, along the way, you might think, or you might start to feel it's like, wow, this is so much better. And the girls will come. They will follow. You chase the bag, they'll chase you. You chase the girl, the bag does not chase you. Okay?
Wait, that was actually facts, bro.
Straight up. That's good.
I'm not trying to sound like that classic, like, Sigma alpha male, like, work on yourself and don't care about women. But it's like, it's important because every guy wants a girlfriend.
The bag does not have legs. It will not chase you. You got to chase the bag.
Exactly.
That's very true. Like,
and that's straight up. That's the important thing. I think a lot of people get caught up in that chase after a girl or just seeming desperate. Like no girl's gonna want you if you're desperate.
No, exactly. Work on yourself, and literally, it's gonna make everything so much easier.
Yeah. Like respectfully, you gotta have that confidence. You gotta be able to be like, you gotta be that guy that the girl wants, right? You know what I'm saying? And like now we're kind of getting into like relationship advice stuff. But hey,
every gamer wants a girl, bro.
I mean, respectfully, every gamer is interested in getting a girl, and
it's a huge motivation, and use that to make yourself better.
Yeah, and like. I think it's really, really, really important to focus on that is like, if you, instead of like, oh, I'm just going to like keep talking to these girls and keep trying to get one of them to like, nah, bro. Like, yes, you'll come.
Start to pull 11s out of 10s,
You'll start pulling if you just go like, do your own thing, right?
Literally. I'm telling you, not trying to sound egotistical, but from experience, bro, it works. It literally works.
And even like, I mean, okay, I don't pull, like, starting this off now. Like, I don't get women.
He has confidence. He would pull everybody. He's 6'1".
I've been complaining about this.
6'1", all the genetics in the world. He's got blue eyes, just confidence. That's what we need here, bro.
Okay. And, well, yeah. And so the thing is like, just because I don't pull, like, I don't, like, get a bunch of women, like, in my DMs or something. But I do know, like, I get a lot of compliments about being attractive from girls. I hear a lot of girls tell me, like, oh, my friend thinks you're cute or whatever, right? And a lot of the time, like, I feel my heart jump a little bit. I'm like, oh, it's exciting. But then I realize I kind of pull back. I'm like, well, I know the moment will come when it comes, right? When I find that person that's like perfect, it'll be worth the wait and everything, right? I think trying to chase so much or do something like that is a little bit, like, it's almost why this thing of like, people are like, oh, you can just go talk to that girl and whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah. But I feel like, to me, it's only going to distract me from what I'm working on right now. Like, and I think if I find that person, it'll just kind of be healthy right off the bat and it won't be a distraction. But if it's someone that I'm just like meeting randomly, I know myself. I'm going to get caught up. I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to start trying to hang out with this person all the time. And I'm going to, mess up in my school and my work and thinking wealthy and all these things. Like, I want to focus on those. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes you got to let it. You got to give it a little time so it can build into something better, right? And you'll find that perfect person, you know, the one that's good for you.
So the whole thing I want to just drive home here, this kind of bring it back to the gaming, is stop playing video games. Like straight up, I personally think you should cut out video games entirely. I know they feel kind of differently, but personally I think cut out video games entirely. Work on yourself violently, especially if you want to get a girlfriend, work on yourself violently. You'll find yourself along the way. Literally, like, the growth is insane. And then you'll end up finding a girl. You'll find your better self, and, like, you'll get fulfillment from that. Just stop playing video games.
I want to say, even like I said this already, but the success, it doesn't have to be a girl, right? Along the way, you're going to get the money. You're going to feel good. Just, it doesn't always have to be about the girl. That might be the original thought.
Yeah, like, use it to start.
Exactly. So that could be a general motivation, but as you go, you're going to think, wow, this is great. Like, I don't need somebody, but like if someone was good to show up, yeah, let's, like, help me build myself up.
It's kind of where I'm at too. Like I know what having a girlfriend's like. I know kind of the distraction that brings.
I've had a girlfriend.
But but no, just my point is, like, I know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? And I know how it ends up being more distracting than I want it to be if I'm trying to force it, right? So overall, my main point is just like, yeah, and as gamers, like you said, like, cut off completely. I mean, trying to cut cold turkey from a video game, like, straight up, it's an addiction.
Hard, yeah.
I took a while, like, even I think that moment when I realized, like, okay, I'm wasting too much time, I started then, like, stop playing a bit, but I still played a bunch, and, like, it kind of slowly became this process where, and I think maybe, like, once I got a job, once you start to realize, like, okay, I don't have time for this anymore.
It was like switching up priorities, right?
Yeah,
like, that's what it is.
I got a job, and I'm going to college, and I'm like, okay, I got, Monday through Friday, I get done with everything at 10:30. So I could either get on at 10:30 and play for like an hour and just feel super tired the next day, or just go to bed, right? It's like, overall, I switched my focus onto those, like, more important priorities, and then video games kind of just fell away naturally, right? So I'd say, like, if you're trying to wean off of video games and you're trying to get a little bit better at not playing them, just go get a different goal. Go get something more fulfilling. Go get a job. Like, if you don't have a job,
priorities. Like, it's easy.
Shout out to Daniel. Go get a job, bro.
Yeah, Daniel, get a job, bro.
Get a job, bro. Respectfully, I think it's like, and you don't have to have a job, or just like something, like, do something that you want to do.
Something fulfilling.
Yeah, because video games are only going to be fulfilling in the moment. Once you turn off the freaking
something
computer,
that progresses you.
Yeah, like, you turn off the computer and all you have is the same person, but you got, like,
sweat.
Yeah, you got
disappointed parents.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they didn't do this back in the day.
No,
this is like generational thing.
Yeah,
shout out to the generation. I'm you, but
yeah,
generational.
And it's like, and especially, yeah, parents don't understand. Like, they're always saying, like, oh, you video games and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, whatever, bro. But, like, it's
set the priorities, bro.
Yeah, and we all get it. Like, it's hard to get off of it. But I'd recommend, if there's one step you want to take, the first step is think to yourself a bit, like, what's a goal that I want to accomplish, right? Yeah. As small as it is, what's something that I'm trying to accomplish, and start doing that. Start focusing on that. The video games will naturally wean off, and then you might still go play. Like, every once in a while, I still get on.
Yeah,
but I feel good about that, because then it's just like, oh, I'm just having
fun. It's
not
an addiction anymore.
I want to say, like, as step one, I think the best part is to kind of take a step back and realize what you are doing, right? You kind of have to, like, most people are going to deny it at first. It's like, oh, well, it's a great way to talk to my friends. It's a great way to kind of like feel something. But to take a step back and to realize, man, I'm not really doing anything, like what you did, for example, for ARC. You have to take a step back and accept what it is right now to move on. Like, if you don't identify a problem before you take, like, action on it, you don't know what you're doing. Like, that's doing a math problem without seeing a problem. You know what I mean? You're just like, where do I begin, right?
That's perfect. Like, literally, I was gonna summarize both of those points there. Basically, what I wanted to say is, don't be the guy who listens to this entire podcast and doesn't take any action. Made it 34 minutes, 13 seconds into this entire podcast, right? You've been listening through this entire thing. You need to, like, if you don't take action after listening to this, you're gonna fail yourself. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy who doesn't take action from this. Like, this is so crucial. This is level 0 to making it to, like, the next area. Like, this is real life video games now. Okay. Yeah. Step away from video games. Take the first step, and this is like your entire life. This is a new journey. Like, I don't know how to explain how exciting this is, but this is the first step to, like, growing and just, like, becoming a brand new person and becoming, like, Giga Chad Sigma male grind set, bro.
Right.
Make your own achievements, right? The big part of the grind in games is getting those achievements, getting those unlocks. Put some goals in your life that you could start today, right? Maybe make a list stuff that you can mark off. It's like, wow, I achieved this instead of getting those gaming achievements, right? That's a good way to start.
100%. I think
it'll like help you focus a little bit more.
And I think as gamers, we all kind of react to that the most, right? Like that's kind of like, I mean, it's our childhood, the achievements and the things, the unlocks, the new gear that you get when you do this new thing. Start thinking about life in that way as well. Like write down. I literally do it every day. I journal and I write down my to-do list every day. Those are like my achievements that I need to accomplish in that day. Yeah. Right. And like it's not like sometimes I'll write little things like, oh, just get the laundry done. Still feels good to get done. But then there's those bigger things too that really feel fulfilling. All of those steps are going to be good steps towards the future. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to start. I hope that the one thing you take away from this episode, if you're sitting there and you want to change a bit, is realize that it starts with you understanding the problem that like video games are just a big distraction. And you need to start pushing away from that a bit. Right. And start focusing on new things and start focusing on yourself more.
So here's my my closing thought. I just want to say, take the discipline you've gained from video games, take that motivation from wanting a girlfriend, and funnel all of that energy into yourself, and you will achieve so many things. It's amazing what you can achieve.
Like I said, it's not an overnight thing. Like I'm sure both of these guys didn't just wake up one day and be like, all right, I'm done. It takes a minute, right? And that's okay, but don't drag it on. You know what I mean? You gotta take action. Like just start. It'll be a slow process.
It's just like anything. I mean, like just from his perspective, like that ARC thing was 2 years ago, maybe even about 2 years ago.
It was like 1.5, somewhere around there.
Was it summertime or was it?
It was like over summer.
That don't matter.
Okay, 1.5, 2 years ago, right? It was a while ago, and I'm still to this day battling with things, battling with the urge to just go lay around and not do anything. It's never going to change in that way, but the important thing is that I can look back in those 1.5 years and I can see I've grown 3 times the amount that I did in the whole high school life that I had playing video games. You know what I'm saying? Like I've grown so much more as a person from it, you know? So that's just how it goes.
All right. So we'll probably follow up with another part to this.
I think there's more that we can definitely say about all this type of stuff and like the mindset stuff. I think a lot of people like it. A lot of people like to hear about it. So let us know if there's any other things you want to hear about.
100%.
Questions, comments, video ideas that you have, whatever you think's cool, whatever you want to hear us talk about. Like I said, if you comment that, we'll probably do it.
Exactly.
We've said this before.
Yeah.
So hope you guys enjoyed.
Yes, sir. It's a brand new week. You're starting
brand
off
new
right.
Week.
Go achieve some greatness. Like
let's
seriously.
go do it.
It's been an honor being on the podcast. Hopefully I can be on here again one day soon.
100%.
100%.
We'll get another part going.
Go pay the fee.
Go pay that fee. Go tell people about us.
Yeah. Have a great rest of your day. Achieve some greatness.
Go achieve it.
Take action.
All right. Bye, guys.
Peace.